Okay, so what we are going to do today is pretty much finishing up this final assignment. But before, so pretty much it will show you how to export textures from the ONI characters and setting up the shader network inside of Maya. Okay, so it's fairly straightforward. But before I actually do it, I will quickly talk about the final assignment and the submission guide. So just to make sure, we kind of talked about it a little bit last week, but I just want to go over that one more time. So simply just go to a assignment document, and then one thing you should be paying attention to is your submission categories that you need to do. So if you scroll down to the second page, it says submit the Maya file, right? MB file that contains the ONI characters without shaders, okay? Just simple grayscale model. So pretty much think of the, just save the file with your 3D model, and then you have your UV map completed, okay? So that's what I will be looking for in terms of a Maya file. And the yours, and then the latest, the final substance painter file. Okay, and then you will need to take a 3 render shot of your ONI character from a substance painter. Okay, so I suggest you do use a iRay to render it out. So I recommend you can pick whatever angle that you like that best represent your characters, but you can just go something like this. Like this angle is actually good, and you can simply save the file, right? Once the rendering is done, I can just say ONI final SG1, and from here you can just show the backside. I'm gonna wait for the render to complete. And I'm gonna save the render. And 2. And probably the best one after this is showcasing the bottom of the characters. But if you have the ground underneath it to prevent the showcasing the underneath, I recommend you to go to a render setting and then remove the ground, okay, right here. So you'll have that, can actually quickly showcase that right here. Oh, I got something going on. Probably glitch with it, yeah. You know what? Forget about the that, maybe. Let's just forget about that. But I think it's some kind of glitch on the render. So I'll just go into the close-up of the head like this. Should be good. And I'm just gonna wait for the render to complete. And 3. Okay. So 1 Maya file, 1 Substance Painter file, and 3 render still. Okay. So that's all you need to do for the final assignment. What we are going to talk about today is how to export the textures and build a network inside of Maya. It's not actually a requirement of your final assignment, but this will come into play in next semester when you guys are actually taking on advanced modeling course, which you guys will be doing a lot more advanced stuff. The basics of it will be pretty much similar, but you guys will be utilizing combination of Maya, ZBrush, and Substance Painter to create full-on characters, right? So that's something that will happen in next semester, and then you guys will go through that process of eventually in the end to actually compile all the textures and then put it back into Maya. So let me just quickly show that to you. It's very short, very quick. So as you can see, this I kind of went ahead from last week's class, and then just kind of add some different types of material on it, on different parts. So it may look a little different from what you guys saw last week, but in terms of what I did was I just spent a little more time, but pretty much did exactly the same technique that I showed it to you guys in terms of putting together and putting different shaders or textures like that, right? So I don't think there's anything technically tricky in terms of get this thing done, as long as you follow along the video lessons and understood what you need to do for texturing, okay, in Substance Painter. Okay, so from here, the one thing you have to make sure is just set it up like this, and then simply go to File, and then Export Texture. That's where you're going to do. So now that's going to open up Export Texture window. So now you can see it shows the actual full list of texture set that exactly same as what you have here. Okay. So what it's gonna do is in each texture set, Substance Painter will generate different types of texture, right? Will be a diffuse, roughness, metallic, normal, height map, and all the extra things if you need to do, right? So each of the texture set will create its own set of texture map, and then you will be pretty much apply different shaders on different part of the model inside of Maya. So now you got that set up. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna go to output directory. It's asking you where do you want to export your texture map to. So I can just click on it, and then I can simply go find the project folder. So I know that I have this one here. This is the earlier project folder that I had. So I'm gonna go to source image. This is the actual project folder from Maya. Okay, I'm gonna set it up the shader inside of Maya. So might as well just use the project folder for Maya. So in that there, you guys know about source image source subfolder. So I'm gonna use that and select the folder. Okay, so I know I identify where I want the texture to be saved to. Next thing I'm going to do is output template. So we are going to be using a standard AI Arnold, which can be found right here. It's already kind of set it up by default right here. Let me double check if I'm missing anything. PBR metallic roughness. Okay, all good, all good. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Arnold AI standard. So that's actually the AI standard is the name of the shader that we are going to be using for Maya. And you can actually, by later, you'll be learning about how to use EXR, which is more of a higher end texture map. But we are going to keep it fairly light. So I'm gonna keep it as a PNG. But I'm gonna make sure that I have the 16-bit setup, which will give you the best color information. Okay, so everything I'm gonna leave that as they are. So I'm gonna move to output template. This is just simply give you the list of the texture map. It's just giving you the template. On the left column is just the list of the template, pre-template that you just see. Same thing as this one here. Okay, and this is just kind of giving you, if you choose which one, it will give you what kind of texture map, pretty much. You can make your own if you like. So it's not that something that's really important. But I'm gonna keep it as you can see. I'm gonna add the project. Make sure I'm gonna have the Arnold AI standard. Okay, right here. So if you select the AI standard, this is the type of texture map that will be generated for each texture set. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is simply move to list of export. And this is the final window area that's giving you actual list of texture that will be generated after you export the textures from Substance Painter. So you can see base color, emissive. Emissive, I don't need it, but I remember I kind of added at the beginning. Height, metalness, normal, roughness. So it looks like we have a full-on texture set. For a body, for a denture, like teeth, and for the eye, and for the eyebrow. Okay, so once you got set up, it's gonna generate 24 texture map. You simply go to select export. Okay, now it's gonna go through the process, giving you all the list of textures being generated. So it looks like it's all good. You can double check your texture map by simply go to ONI source image. Now you have all the texture map showing up here. Okay. Alright, so that's good. Now I'm gonna go to Maya, and then I'm going to set the project to Oni. Alright, and then I'm gonna open Oni model final. So this is the actual model from Maya. You can actually, if you happen to lose your original model while you work in Substance Painter, whatever the reason, there's also option you can actually, oops, I just exported again. You can actually generate a export the mesh from Substance Painter, but make sure you turn off apply triangulation. Otherwise, when you export it and try to import into Maya, you notice that all the polygon face has been triangulated. Okay, so make sure that you click that up and do it, and you can actually export the actual model out of it, and then you can import it back into Maya to actually use it. Anyway, so now we are back in Maya. So just remember that we apply differentiator to create all the texture set. We can actually start the building it from here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open up something a little different. Let's see. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just click on this. If you're looking at the top side of Maya, you'll see that this little blue colored ball looking kind of circular icon right there on the top, right beside the render global. If you click on it, it's going to open up what you call hypershade. So the hypershade is something that we didn't really talk about it too much, but just think of it as the specific area where we can actually manipulate and build your own shader network inside of Maya. And a lot of texture and shading network work is actually being done inside of hypershade. So we're gonna use that for today's class, for this exercise here. Okay. Now you see that on top of the area, it just gives you the entire list of the already present shaders inside of this current file that you opened up, right? We have all the shaders here, and then default shader, and these three shaders, these shaders here, they are all like default shader that's already existing, no matter what file that you opened up. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now is I can actually start by either you can create a new shader directly, and then apply and then have that visible in the hypershade, or you can simply select the body mesh here, right mouse button, assign new material, right? Go to, we are going to Arnold shader, okay? And there are a bunch of them here. What I'm going to select here is AI standard surface, right here, okay? In 90% of your rendering exercise right now or in the future, you guys will most likely using this one single shader to build your whatever the asset. Okay, you may be using something a little different depending on the situation. Maybe if you want to create more realistic properly subsurface scattered skin shader, then there is actually a specialized shader for that. Or if you want to create like a toon shading, stylized look, there's also opportunity for that by using AI toon, right? So these are all the special case that you may have to choose differentiator to do it. But in my case, I see that 90% of your a lot of asset building, you guys will be using AI standard surface, okay? Because it actually covers a lot of the values or characteristic of any kind of object. And since we are using PBR texturing process, which means a lot of the surface characteristic that we wanted to create can be done, was actually already completed during the texturing stage when you actually creating a texture in Substance Painter. Okay, so I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna click on AI standard surface. That's gonna create a new one, and you see that the color changes to something new. Okay. So this is the actual shader, and this is the actually the shape node we calling almost. It's kind of hidden node that comes with any kind of shader that you create. I normally don't touch this at all because it also is normally hidden, not actually accessible. but we are going to be using it for this exercise because it has the specific setting that you can actually apply or connect your height map from here. Okay, but before we do it, I'm gonna double click on this one here, so it actually show you all the settings that are exactly identical to what you guys have been seeing on the attribute editor when we were editing the shaders, right? So you can see they're exactly the same. Okay, so now let's start to attaching our texture map. So I'm gonna start with the color. So we just go to color here, with the shader selected, click on the checker icon, click on it. Now it's gonna ask you what you wanna do with it. I'm gonna say I'm gonna apply a file. I'm gonna click on it. So now we got the file node, and you'll see that this is called a place to the texture one. So this is automatically added for whenever you wanted to use a actual texture file to build whatever the shader that's working. This is largely deals with the all of the position values, or depending on whether you want to repeat the textures or you want to make a texture smaller or make it bigger. That you can actually control this. In most of the cases, you don't do it because the a lot of texture work that we've done in Substance Painter is actually done based on UV map. So if you manipulate this, that's gonna impact how the text gonna look. May potentially, in most of the cases, it's gonna break the whatever texture work that you did. So we are not going to touch this, but nevertheless, doesn't really matter. It still has to be there, right? So just leave it that as they are, and just click on the file and then go to folder. If you set your project properly, you should be taken to a source image folder. And from here, all you need to do is go find the body, and I'm gonna find the base color. So that's going to be the color right here, and open. All right, so now we got the first texture coming in. Now you can see the texture is already starting to showing up. All right, so that's good. Next one, I'm gonna go back to the main shader here, and this time I'm gonna go to Metalness. Click, file, same thing. Double click, here's the file too. Click on the folder, and then I'm gonna go find a Metalness right here. Now here is the important part. So this is the metal map. So it's actually black and white grayscale image, which means you do have to change your color space of this texture manually. Otherwise, your texture is not gonna look correctly shown. So what you have to do is make sure you got that Metalness in, and then go to color space right here. Click the sRGB, select utility, and select raw. Okay, and then one last thing is make sure you checked on alpha is luminance. Okay, underneath the color balance setting. Once again, if you don't do these two things, your texture is not gonna showing properly. I'm gonna go back. As for this base color, you don't touch anything. You just leave that as sRGB here, okay? And you don't tick on. You just leave that ticked off for the alpha is luminance. Okay, go back. And this time, I'm gonna select the roughness right here. If you go down to specular, roughness, click on checker icon, file, folder, and I'm gonna find a roughness right here. So you can see the metal, black and white, roughness, also black and white, grayscale. So that indicating that once you add that, I'm gonna go back to this file for the roughness and make sure I'm gonna change the color space from sRGB to raw. Alpha is luminous, is checked on. Okay. All right. Next, I'm gonna go back again, and this time I'm going to be adding a normal map now, which means you can't really find it directly right here. But if you actually scroll down and look for the tab called a geometry, so just open it up. It has bump mapping. This is the setting that we are going to be using. So you're just gonna go there and then click on the checker icon and select file again. Now it looks a little different. Now instead of 2 nodes being added, now you have a additional node called bump 2D. So this is where you will be controlling what kind of the normal or bump map that you want to use. So here you may have to manually change the setting here. So I'm gonna change to bump 2D1, double click on it, and change that use edge from bump to a tangent space normal. Okay, we got that, and then go to file and select the file, and I'm gonna look for a normal and open it. Once again, if you go to there, probably nothing shows up. At this point, if you don't have any light inside of Maya, you're not going to be seeing anything in terms of a normal map. So maybe it's a good time to, instead of keep building the network, we will be adding a light. So ideally, what I wanna do is I wanna replicate the look exactly same, what I see inside of Substance Painter, look very close to almost same as inside of Maya. So that means I also want to use the exactly same light setting that we have. The light that we have here is, as you can see, is Studio 2. You can change it to, for example, Beneficial. They kind of give you a slightly different look, right? So maybe I like this HDR map. Why don't I use this one? But the good thing is, I actually, if you go to eCentennial and go to Content and weekly lesson, week 14. And if you go to the third one from the exercise file, there's this zip file. Actually, I extract the old HDR map from Substance Painter, and then I actually zipped it here. So you guys can actually use it and simply download it here. So I'm gonna download this HDR map. It's a bit slow. So let's just wait a little bit. Until then, maybe you can actually continue to build that a little more. So I guess the same thing with the normal map too. So double click on this normal map, make sure that you go to that actual file node. You will also have to, similar to the metalness and roughness, you will have to change your color space, okay, to a raw again. And then also make sure the alpha is luminance is checked on, okay. Make sure that tangent space is normal, is correctly set up. Okay. Let's see what's still going. You can actually create a simple light. Directional light, maybe. It doesn't really do the justice actually. So here's the HDR from SP zip file. So I'm gonna simply extract them to here. So we just create the this exterior, this 3 folder. What I'm going to do here's the extracted folder. I'm gonna cut that and go to desktop, and then go to my source file, the project folder from Maya, and just gonna go to source image and just gonna paste that entire folder here. So I can just grab that from Maya easily. Okay, so I will just want to create a simple light to begin with. So I'm gonna go to Arnold, okay, and then go to light, and then I'm gonna select a sky dome light. So once you do it, it's gonna create a huge sphere that's kind of similar to what you guys just saw in the Substance Painter in terms of a texture map. So it's kind of using a exactly same technique or technology here. So all you need to do is make sure you select the AI Dome Skylight 1 and simply go to color section on the top from the attribute editor and click on this checker icon. And then go to file, open the folder, HDR from SP, double click, and exterior and bona fascia right here, EXR, that's the one, and I'm gonna open it. So now we got that file right here. Be zooming in, and let's turn on the light and see how it looks. Okay, so it looks like something is working now. If I actually move it around, you notice that the all the normal map is actually behaving nicely. It's good. So, but it's not done yet. We still need to add one more map into here, which is, if you open that up, Hypershade right here, you have the sky dome shader is also showing up here, right? We need to also add a height map that has some of the height information there, but we can't really add that height map directly from the main shader node. You will have to access the one next to it, smaller one. This is another node that's hidden, and if you double click on it, it's gonna open it up and giving you the different setting. What you want to pay attention to is the displacement MAT dot right here. I'm gonna click that, go to file. Okay, now giving you the different file now. It says yours are actually similar to the normal map here. If I actually put that side by side, so this is normal map setup, and this is displacement map setup. Just similar, but instead of using normal node to control that, we are going to be actually using a displacement map, which is actually generating actual geometry for the height information. And so we are going to be using this. So I'm gonna go to file, double click on it, and then not that one, sorry about that, right here, file, and then click open, and I'm gonna select the height right here, black and white, and open it. Alright, that's good. And I believe that we have to also set that as color space as raw, alpha as luminous is on. Make sure you do that. Now, if you actually take a look at it from the viewport, even after you apply the height map, you do not see any display from a height map being implemented. It's only available if you press the render button in Arnold, which means you can simply click on it. This little thing right here, the second one from the left, it's called the rendered view from the current view. And click the play button, it's gonna start warming it up and doing some render. Now, it looks something is off. It's you see that the render is very, the character is a lot more chunkier and kind of balloons. It's largely because of the scale information of the height map is incorrect. So what you have to do for this is simply you will have to play around with some numbers a little bit to kind of readjust the scale value of the height map, and it can be easily done if you go back to Hypershade, go back to displacement map shader node right here, but the one that's kind of controlling the displacement map node. And if you see that third one, it's called a scale. It's quantity set as 1. This is where the problem comes from. So usually if you set it as 0.01, like this, it will most likely fix up the issues. Mind you, it may the number may be a little different depending on the type of the model or the different case of the scenario. But in my case, I see that in 90% of the case, if you change the number to 0.01, it will most likely fix up the problem. So let's double check the render again. You can see that now the character is back to the normal state. Okay. Alright, so it looks good. So we got the main body part done pretty much. So if I see that here, I'm gonna rename that as Oni body empty. Alright, so that part is good. I can now simply move on to the denture area right here. I'm going to do the same thing. Right click, apply new material, and go to Arnold shader, and then AI standard surface again. Alright, so we got that here. And I'm gonna go back to the hypershade. So now if you have a lot of stuff here, it's kind of cluttering the area, it gets too hairy and messy. All you have to do is click on this little 3 stars right here to clear the graph, to clean it up. It's not gonna delete the shader, just gonna clean it up on the canvas. You can always bring it back if you want to bring back that body. Just simply drag that from the top. You see that Oni body right here? Apply that. It's gonna show up right here. And then click on input output connection. Right, this one here. And it's gonna reveal and then show you all the connection network node that's connected to the main shaders. Okay? You can clean that up again. Now I'm gonna apply, this one is already applied here. So I can actually do this. So you can select the object like this if you want to have that selected object and then have that shader attached to it to show up here. Simply select the object and then click on this one right here. Now it's gonna showing up the new shader that we just applied. Okay, so this is going to be a test, but we are going to be doing exactly the same thing. Double click, color, checker, file, folder. And this time I'm gonna go for the denture and base color right here. You don't have to change anything, as you leave it as they are. Then I'm gonna go down, quickly go down to the metalness option, file, checker, and then it's going to be metal. So denture and metal, yes, is what I'm looking for right here. Doesn't really have anything because it was teeth. It did not have any metallic value to it. So I'm gonna just cut that as black colors and showing up. Just wanna make sure I'm gonna have that utility as raw. Alpha is luminous, checked on. Okay, go back. Roughness, checker, file, change it to raw, alpha luminous, and I know that I'm just gonna find the metal roughness map right here. All right, it's a quick process once you get a hang of it. Geometry, bump map, checker, file, right here. Click on bump 2D, change that from bump to tangent space normal. Double click the file, click the folder, and I'm gonna go find denture normal. Same thing, I wanna make sure I'm gonna change my color space to raw, alpha is luminous is on. Okay, so I can quickly double check the in progress. Yeah, looks good. Once again, if you have this sphere is kind of on the way, if you scroll out, it's gonna cover it up. So if you still want to use your light, but you don't want to be visible in the viewport, all you have to do is simply select the sphere, scroll down, and then go to viewport tab, and have that sky radius currently set at 1000 scale value. Just change it to 0, and you're gonna have the same thing. So if you want to find out, want to get some basic understanding of how Arnold is being done, you can actually check out. I guess I don't have it here. Maybe I'll bring it for the future. Okay. Yeah, just have the sky register set to 0 and that just leave at that, okay? You can actually also select that very sky light and you can rotate that, right? And then change the light. This one, unlike the Substance Painter, you do have access to change the direction of light vertically, right? Remember that Substance Painter does not allow you to do this. You can only rotate it horizontally. So in Maya, there's no limitation whatsoever, okay? Alright, so we got everything set up. Bump map, normal map, all set up, tangent space, or the raw LCD set up. You probably also have the high map, so I'm gonna add the high map anyway. I'm gonna set the scale as 0.01 to make sure that I set it up that way to begin with. And then go to File, select that, and go to Denture and find the height map. Okay, and then change that to raw. Tangent alpha is luminance. So you will be seeing this. I just want to do a quick render to make sure that there is no balloon render like that we saw it earlier. Where's the render window? Oops. I'm gonna save my file. I guess it's better to save the file here. Only texturing 001. Yeah, it does actually. It probably show the exactly it's showing the proper textures here. Yeah, I'm rendering in fairly small resolution right now because I just put a quick test render. Yeah, it's like it's like 960 by 540. It's almost half the size, more than half the size. Anyway, so that's good. So we got the teeth working. Now I'm gonna quickly move on to the eyes. I'm gonna select the eyes, apply, new material, shader, AI standard surface again. Okay. You can actually do all the work in the hypershade, but you can also do the same thing inside of the attribute editor too, right? You can see that, all the stuff here. But let's just stick with the. So I'm gonna just click that, clean it up. With the model, we apply the shader, right? So the model being selected, click on that little icon on the right. It's gonna reveal the shader that's being applied to. Maybe I think I forgot to name the denture, but I'm gonna name it now. Oni eyes empty. Okay, double click. Go to file, go to color, checker, file, click order, and then I'm gonna go look for eye and base color right here. Make sure it's showing up. Yep. I'm not gonna touch anything, but I'm gonna quickly move on to the metalness, checker, file, and go find the eye and metalness. Yes. And I'm gonna have my utility set as raw, alpha is luminance. Okay, it's good. Double click, roughness, checker, file, folder, and I'm gonna look for a roughness. Make sure I'm gonna do the same thing, the metal and roughness, both of them, and also the high map and normal map. Make sure that you change your color space to raw, okay? To make sure that you have that properly working. Otherwise, your texture is not gonna show up properly, okay? Once again. And once you get that, go to Geometry tab, Bump Mapping, Checker, file, right? Bump 2D, change it to tangent space, file, go find I and normal. We're good. I'm gonna change it to a raw for a color space, and once again alpha is luminance is on. Something is off here, right? Make sure that we have everything set up properly. Raw. I do think that this may be due to, let me double check. Go to a mesh display, and if I actually have to soften the edge, yes, it actually fixed it up quite a bit. Yep. It's also showing some weird artifact here. So let me double check the shader here. Probably the something I made a mistake with. It's most likely normal. Tangent space normal is good. It's raw. Alpha is luminance. Maybe not so much. Oh, I put the wrong texture right here for the normal. I put the eyebrow, right? So it's the wrong one. So I should go for eye. Normal? Yes. Okay. Still showing some weirdness to it. Oh, I gotta change it to raw here. So sRGB also showing some artifact, because when I change the texture map, it probably show setting was just set back to default sRGB color. So I'm gonna change that to utility and raw. Yeah, and now it's kind of fixed up. Okay. The last thing, probably, is the height map. Displacement map, checker, file. I'm gonna set that scale to 0.01. Eyes and height. Okay, now we got that working. Just want to double check the displacement map is correctly showing up. Yeah, looks good. Now we are left with the last one right here. Yeah, it looks fine here. That's weird. Let me render that here. Probably something to do with in Substance Painter when you do the eye render, probably still recognize the ground that we set up. It has, and probably create that clipping shadow. Where's the render? Yeah, my Maya acting it out. I better save file if I lose anything. Okay, so I'm just gonna carry on, and then gonna finish up this very last one here. It's called eyebrow. It's going to be very straight once again. I'm gonna open up the select the mesh, right click, assign new material, Arnold, AI standard surface, color, checker, file. I'm gonna go find a eyebrow and base color. That's the one. Yep. Leave that everything as they are. Go back. This time I'm gonna go to metal, checker, I'm doing everything from attribute instead of doing it from the hypershade, and I'm just want to show you that it's completely possible to do so. Go to File, open up, click on the folder, and I'm gonna find the meta-hardness of the eyebrow. Open. Okay, we got it. Now I want to change my color space to raw. Color balance checked on. Alpha is luminance is on. Good. Go back. Click on that button to go back to the initial setup, initial place, and then I'm gonna go back to go to roughness, checker, file, folder, and then find a roughness for eyebrow right here. Change that to raw for the color space, and make sure you turn on alpha is luminance. And it's good. Now I'm gonna scroll down to a geometry, bump mapping, checker, file, and I'm gonna find that here. Normal eyebrow, open it. You got that something, it's weird once again because it's not correct color space, right? So what you have to do is select that, change it to a raw. That's what it is. Alpha is luminance is on. Okay. And probably the last thing, you may have to access the hypershade to make things actually do it better. I'm gonna clean it up and gonna select this eyebrow here, bring it in here. We already have that already set up. Double click on this blue one, find the displacement mat, displacement MAT, checker, file, change your scale to 0.01, and go to file node, select the folder icon, and find the height map. Open it, check your utility set to raw, alpha is luminance, and you should be good to go. So let me quickly save the file because the looks like the Arnold is not Arnold render window is not opening it up. So if I actually go back and do a relaunching Maya, texturing version 001, and open it. Yeah, it's now showing up. Okay, I can just click on the play button to see what's going on. Yeah, everything is rendering okay. It's good. So the main thing is looking at that from here and inside Substance Painter, they need to be look almost identical, right? So that's what I'm actually going for. So I gotta change beneficial is the different beneficial. Actually, I was using different map. I think this one is the one I'm actually using. Yeah. It has a slightly more specularity, but I guess that's what it is. But yeah, most of them are pretty similar, I guess. Maybe if I actually have that light to showing up here, and then also do the same thing. Yeah. And you can also test the render, right? You can actually go to and change that to Arnold directly. Yeah, it's once again it's different map. I guess I have to pick the right one. But the main thing is you can just compare them, and then pretty much as long as you, because since we just pretty much brought the transport the texture or the PBR texture map that usually contains all the characteristics or metallic characteristics or surface characteristics. Most of them will stay same when you compare them to side by side, pretty much. So what you see in terms of slight difference is mostly because of the fine tuning of the light setting. You can see that by general look and overall looks are actually identical. And this is what you guys should be going for in terms of setting up the exact same shaders inside of Maya. Okay? I guess eventually you guys will be learning about how to use a Unreal Engine, which is a huge plus for everyone. Instead of using actual Arnold or different render setting, Unreal is by far the quickest and probably give you a very good result with a fraction of time. Yes?
Like in which course we learn?
The lighting course you guys will be focusing on Arnold. Okay? Mostly what you guys are seeing here. Unreal not so much, but the Unreal is very easy to learn. Okay? Especially if you just want to use it for lighting and rendering, you can just simply create the exactly same thing as you guys have done and generate the texture map exactly same. So the only thing difference is you're just setting up a different shader. How you setting up the building the shader inside of Maya and Unreal is just slightly bit different, but they are also fairly similar. Okay? And Substance Painter also comes with actual template that allow you to export the texture map for a Unreal. Okay? So you can actually you can see that there are a lot of game apps and a lot of things are being done, inside Substance Painter. It can be easily transferred to a different game engine like Unreal or Unity. And the process is pretty much same. It doesn't matter whether you guys are building it for movies or building it for a video game. Especially the modeling process can be different because it's using different optimization for modeling. But in terms of texturing works, a lot of things are kind of similar. And you can actually do the similar way of what we call the PBR process. This is pretty much the latest, most popular, widely used texturing solution for any of the 3D asset. Okay? And you guys are learning how to use a Substance Painter is pretty much all you need to do. You can pretty much texture anything that you guys want. Just to require some practice, some learning, right? Some advanced stuff. Because what I show you guys is pretty much fundamentals of Substance Painter. With whatever knowledge that you guys gain from this course, you can pretty much texture anything you want. Minus maybe glass, half transparent. But it's also, there's a ton of tutorials you can find it. It's just a simple matter of adding additional channel for controlling opacity value of the characteristic of the surface anyway. So it's not a huge thing that you guys have to take on. So, but anything else? So in terms of Substance Painter, I kind of talked about it earlier, but as long as you understand how to use how the smart material or regular materials are being done, okay? Like not being done, but how they actually, you can actually be able to import those things into your project. You can turn on and off the visibility and analyze like a reverse engineering that we have done, right? You understand that part and you think you can do that on your end when you're building your own textures. That's one thing that's gonna help you quite a bit. And another thing is how to control your mask, right? The Substance Painter, most of the work and most of the thing that's divided up is all controlled by mask, okay? So the knowing how to use the smart material like asset library and then knowing how to use a mask is the two things that you guys should pay attention to, okay? Other than that, everything is kind of similar to Photoshop or After Effects if you got familiar with it. It's not too much difficult in that regard. But I understand everybody is a little different in terms of how you guys are learning new stuff. So it takes your time though, okay? But you guys can see that the Substance Painter is relatively easier compared to Maya when you guys are first learning modeling and things like that. It's more direct and more straightforward, and you can see the result instantaneously. That makes things a lot easier. Anyhow, we kind of sidetracked a little bit, but yeah. So if you have some time, maybe the one thing you guys can actually, if you have some time during this holiday break, maybe you guys can maybe dive into Unreal a little bit. Main thing you guys should be looking at is how to create animation from Unreal or animation shoot from Unreal, okay? That you guys will be find tons of results available that talk about entire process of how to create those things, even using like a Megascan asset. That is, you see a lot of AAA games or amazing CG work has like crazy looking cliff and rock and so realistic. If you're wondering how they're actually being done, they're all scanned assets. And you guys can get all of that fully prepared in package by using Unreal for free. Okay, we call that Megascan. It's actually built for video game, AAA video games, but now it's kind of Megascan that's kind of the partnership with Epic, which is the maker of Unreal. So now they are offering that entire library they have of Megascan offer free to anybody using Unreal. Okay. It's a huge plus if you want to build some kind of gigantic landscape. You see some of the crazy looking short film that was kind of text demo Unreal 5. Those things they're all using Megascan. You can simply download that Megascan and directly import it into Unreal and make it just kind of combine a bunch of different rock, and you can create the fairly nice looking vista or like landscape of the very easily. And that's how all those virtual production, that's some of the biggest thing is actually being done. That's why they also prefer to use Unreal, because that comes, Unity doesn't offer that kind of package. You may have to pay for it to actually, or purchase it separately to actually have access to something like those. But yeah, with Unreal, those are actually free. So if you have time, Unreal is all installed in this computer, so you guys all can just simply open it up. And the main thing you guys should be focusing on, just start with, there's a lot of articles, video lessons, or tutorials available about Unreal, how to create animation shorts from Unreal. And I want you guys to try that out. And anyone who tried that out before, they all loved it. So might as well try out for yourself. And as you guys know, a lot of animation, VFX studio, they are always trying to hire more people, artists who can actually use Unreal, okay? So it's starting to get widely used in many different sectors, okay? All right, so as you can see, this is pretty much how you set up your textures, right? And the I guess it's once you got a hang of it, it's a lot of repetition in a way. Or you can even build that one shader as a template and just duplicate and copy paste it, right? And just kind of swap the texture map. You can also do that as well, but the once again, it doesn't matter what kind of asset you're building, you will be pretty much going through the exactly same process in terms of building the network. Okay, I do know that there's a plugin that actually automates that process for you guys too. You just do that directly, import the texture map into Maya, and with the plugin, the Maya will automatically generate that the surface shader network. But the you guys can see it just take a bit of time, but it's once the how to setting it up, it's fairly straightforward. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it for me. I'm gonna spend the rest of the class to kind of answer any questions that you guys may have, or gonna help you with that. I know that you guys are busy with the assignment. There may be still some assignment due. I know that we just have 1 day left until the end of the semester, but I do expect that some of the other faculty gave you guys some extension on the assignment to kind of continue working on it, maybe over a weekend. Is that true? Or you guys all have to finish everything up by tomorrow? You have some extension, right? Yeah, so usually you guys get the extension. So I understand that. So usually around the end of semester, the attendance always goes down a little bit. But as usual, you guys know me that I'm not exactly, I feel a little hurt when I see that you guys seem to doesn't care that much, right? I know that you guys are not. I'm sure you guys are here to learn about animation or have interest in it. But as personally, I'm also here to working with you guys to achieve you guys' goals, right? And sometimes you feel a little, I feel a little not exactly happy when I see not many students showing up for the class. So I hope you guys understand that. Nothing personal, okay? I want you guys to be all succeed, right? It's nothing better than seeing you guys doing well in the industry, and then comes back later and maybe like to offer your knowledge to the new students, new crop of students, right? You see that a lot of teachers here, they also actually were in a similar shoes as you guys were, and they were actually my students actually when I was teaching, and those guys actually always attending class and pay attention to everything they do and show the sign that they are serious about what they're studying, and we would love to see that from you guys as well, right? And I do see that from many of you guys, so I do really appreciate it. I'm not saying that I'm not seeing from any of those from you guys, okay? But I hope you guys understand that aspect, why I did it. I kind of give you guys spend some time to kind of talk some negative stuff about stuff, but I hope you guys understand that the reason behind it. Yeah, so next semester I'll be teaching rigging 1 with you guys. So that's pretty much introductory rigging course. So we're gonna start with talking about different constraint tools. So rigging is pretty much about understanding hierarchy and understanding how to create a relationship between two objects, two different entities, right? And it's very important in a way because you guys knowing how to understand rigging means you should have good understanding of a hierarchy and how to create a group, how the group behave, what kind of constraint tool that you guys need to use. That also related to the modeling and also animation. Okay? So some of you guys thinking, oh, I'm not going to be a rigging artist, why should I care about rigging? But it does. No matter what you do, it will be somehow related to what you guys will be doing. And as you guys know, many studios like people who can rig, who knows about rigging, right? Because it's kind of rare skill set that not many people actually enjoy doing it, because it deals with a lot of technical aspect. Also, it's a lot of problem solving, and not so much about creativity that I'm sure you guys all enjoy doing, right? Design your characters, model your own thing, animate your own thing, right? It's all creativity and fun, lighting and everything. But rigging is a little different. It's more of a, instead of, it can be some creativity there, right? Like creative problem solving. But it's, a lot of things is kind of related to technical aspect, and sometimes when there's a lot of things that you guys be considering, sometimes the students lose the interest a little bit. But the main thing is it will be introductory rigging course. So my focus will be have you guys have a good fundamental understanding of rigging, and that's all you need to do. And yeah, once again, and that's gonna, maybe if you have some experience with the rigging, maybe you may find some interest in there, right? And and then in the third semester there will be advanced rigging course that you guys will be meeting a new faculty, Matthew Rich. He's also a technical director in several different animation and VFX studios, and he has a very extensive experience in the industry as a rigging artist, also technical director. So he will also teach you guys very useful advanced rigging tools as well in third semester. Anyway, so just be aware that in second semester a lot of things you will be actually dividing it up. So there will be separate modeling class, there will be separate animation class, you guys already had it. There will be also separate lighting class. So things will start to more subdivide, and then you guys will be actually go a little bit deeper deeper into each area of this, and then around the midway of the, probably around the near the end of the second semester, you guys will most likely recommend it to pick your discipline, which means whether you want to become a modeler, animator, rigging artist, lighting artist, compositor, FX artist. You know, there's tons of them there. Layout artists, pre-visual artists, you know, concept designers, or you know, there are tons of different specialties there. And after nearly around the end of the second semester, once you guys have all different courses that you guys experience it, you guys should be able to identify the specific thing that you guys want to pursue or focus on. Okay. Yeah, it can be a little difficult. Then all the other faculty will help you with that. Okay. I suggest you look for something that you enjoy most, right? To be honest, I would suggest that you go for something that you are good at, something that you actually getting some good grade or some praise from the faculty for the course, over something that you enjoy. Okay, and then just pick the what you enjoy most as a second your discipline. Okay, it's better that you go for something that you actually doing well. Okay, there will be, this is a creative industry we are going into, and any of the creative industry that you're going into, you become essentially professional commercial artist. There's always competition in terms of getting a job. Job itself are limited. They do anticipate the, you guys know the industry is not doing well right now because of the strike and everything. They do say that there are many of the studios in Toronto will be start hiring around March next year. So you guys are still in school, so it's not, I don't think it's going to be really affecting you guys at all. By the time you guys graduate, I do expect the industry will be fully back in full swing, right? Because there always used to be like crazy hiring frenzy right after COVID, right? And everyone trying to do it, and then was doing well, and then the strike happened, and everything stopped. So that you guys know about strike, right? Writer's strike or actor strike in California. That actually affects everyone in here. So you see that a lot of people lost the job because of it, especially in VFX industry, which is very severe, very serious thing. But the now strike is over, but they were just still, it does not like, strike over, next day everybody starts hiring. No, it's not, it takes time to ramp it up again, right? So they anticipate around the March, things will really pick it up again. So it's still right now the end of the year anyway, so nobody's hiring the end of the year anyway. Everybody's kind of holiday mode right now, so it'll be fine. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much everyone for sticking with me throughout the semester. We're gonna have some more of this next semester, right? Yeah, and this is your break, 3 weeks break that you guys all deserve it, right? And it's important that you get a full advantage of that, get fully recharged, right? And then come back fresh. Second semester will be a little bit more grueling and more work involved, okay? So usually the second semester, the workload is kind of ramping it up a little bit. So the first semester is known to be a little easy. And second semester will start to ramp it up more. Third semester even more. And fourth semester will be a lot easier. There will be less course for you guys, but more of your guys independently working on your bigger projects. Okay, so just be aware of that, because usually a lot of learning content will be squeezed between second and third. There's a lot of specialization going in, right? So pay attention to all the course and try to do your best to get a reasonable grade so you can actually move it up into next semester and continue doing that, right? Yeah, that's what it is. I went through the exactly same thing as you guys did, so I kind of feeling it, right? Sometimes just being in a college like this kind of specialized, very specialized stuff, skill set that you guys are learning, but there has a huge promise, right? This is you guys are learning how to use 3D. There's always demand for 3D work. So don't just think that don't just narrow yourself thinking that you will be working in animation or VFX only. There's opportunity in game, opportunity in like broadcasting, like commercial, motion graphics. Like you can, if you wanna create a commercials, right? Like 10 seconds of a very high quality animation, cinematic kind of stuff. There's just studios like that, kind of focusing on that kind of aspect as well. So there's and also medical architectures. Did I say architectures? So there's always opportunity for you guys to actually do it. I mean, you can even make your own model, your own character, and post it on some turbo squid and kind of sell it too, right? So whatever that's in there, just try to open it up, and then just look around, right? There's a lot of opportunity out there. You can actually take full advantage of, even before you actually complete the study, right? Small things will go a long way. So and this is a great time for you guys to really learn 3D very quickly. Because if you first time learning it right now, especially, you will be able to sponge, like sucking all the information very easily and quickly. You will see the progress, daily progress almost. You feel like you're getting better every day, right? But you gotta do the work, right? You just as simple as just watching simple tutorial that posted by the faculty or something you found on the YouTube. I don't know. Just simply or read the article about something that you have interested in. That will go a long way in terms of understanding better about what you need to do. And I also recommend you also looking into some of the behind the feature of the like if you get a chance, maybe you can actually watch some of the if people simply used to be they offered like second disc on the Blu-ray, whatever, like a behind feature stuff. That's usually very very inspiring, and they talk about many things that you guys will probably find it a lot easier to understand what they're talking about now after you guys gain some knowledge. Because a lot of things like technical stuff they're talking about it, and then how clever use they do, how they actually do certain shot, and how they actually figure it out how to do it, right? So it's very interesting to see how they do it. A lot of times that's what they do at the actual animation or VFX studio. They're trying to figure out how to do the certain shot, right? So I remember that when I was working at the one of the VFX studio, every day, every task shot was a big challenge, because I always had to do the research on it, because every shot was different, right? Because they gotta do some kind of, we want to have some kind of alien liquid coming out of a cup or something, all those kind of nonsense can happen, and you gotta have to actually recreate that, and can be a very daunting task at the beginning, but while you're doing a research and everything, you get to gain those knowledge that will become very valuable to you in the later future. So those things will happen, and and then once again, the second semester is probably important, right? So you guys will be actually should be picking your disciplines and everything. I do recommend everyone to kind of pick at least two disciplines, right? Not just pick one, but these days people prefer to have a more versatile skill set, right? Instead of just knowing one thing, and you will be unnecessarily narrow yourself just focusing on one thing too, right? If you say, I'm gonna be animator, so I'm not gonna touch modeling, I'm not gonna touch lighting, and I don't care about any of those kind of stuff, it's fine. I have a friend like that who's been working as an animator for past 20-30 years, and he's doing great. Amazing animators, really talented, working on a feature films all the time. But he sometimes just struggle to continue his job, because when the project is over, there's no animation task is in there. He got no work to do, right? So it doesn't matter how good he is. He's pretty much his skill level or knowledge level is kind of limited, because he has been doing animation all the time for the past 20 years. Only thing he can do is animation. He doesn't remember how to do modeling. He doesn't remember any of them at all. Only thing he remembers how to animate, how he can do it very well, right? It's very, very unique skill set, but also at the same time, it's very narrow, very specialized animation. it used to work in like 10-15 years ago, but now how things are going with the development of AI, with that means less labor power will be needed, right? And development of the newer software just makes it easier for the artists to do the certain task that we used to take 10 steps to do it. Now you just take just one step, right? So things are changing, and because of that, it's most likely, I think that a lot of you guys will be asked to do a multitasking, like 2 or 3 different things maybe you guys are good at, over just focusing on one thing, right? So especially also if you want to work in a smaller studio. Usually if you go apply for bigger studio, everything is very specialized. So if you hire as a modeler, all you will be doing is modeling. You're not going to do animation, rigging, anything at all. But if you're going into, for example, like a mid-size or smaller size studio, because of the number of people that are a lot less, you gotta have a hands on a lot of different aspects of doing your production, right? Which means sometimes you will have to put on different hats sometimes because of the number. So you got to be, so that means you need to be kind of, versatile with different skill sets, and they will value that more, okay? So it's a little different. I guess I'm sure that if you ask other faculty, they're gonna say completely opposite thing as what I said. But don't get confused, okay? It's either way, it's fine. It's just depending on what direction you take, the type of job that's going to be available will be a little different. Okay, just think of it that way. Okay? If you want to become like for example, I was a generalist tomorrow, which means I'm kind of know how to do all the stuff, but never an expert on any of those. You know what I mean? I'm kind of, let's say expert animator level is around there. I'm kind of down here a little bit, but I know everything. But animator only knows one thing, right? It's just different way to approach it. That kind of put me in a position. I have a lot of my industry experience. I have some experience working in a big studio as well, several of them. But I also have quite a bit of experience working in a smaller or middle-sized studio, there where I get to have a hands-on a lot of different things, and it's a little different. But I had more fun by being a generalist because I get to do compositing, I get to do motion graphics, sometimes I get to do 2D animation, graphic design, illustration. I kind of like that kind of aspect of trying out different things at that time, but everybody's a little different, right? So if you want to focus on one thing, just keep things simple and just want to really master one thing, it's completely fine. You do have an option to do that, and there's nothing wrong with what you do, okay? If you're not sure, we are already here as a faculty, right? So don't hesitate to ask us if you're not sure about those kind of a career choice or directions, right? We are all the faculty here to kind of help you and provide you with that advice. And we all gone through the same thing, right? When we are learning. So that will also help you quite a bit, okay?